Hello, and welcome to part three of 100 Things to Know About Me based on Mommy Blog questionnaire. You're going to be sick of hearing those three words together by the end of this video. If you haven't gotten to the other two videos, there might be construction noise. I don't know what's showing up on these videos. I'm not watching them, so maybe all the sound quality is horrible, and for that I apologize. Getting back into it though. Number 51. What's on my mind? I'm ready for reality to kick in, as this whole last year has felt really out of sync. I've never been unemployed in my life. I'm not used to being home so much. I'm in the worst shape I've ever been in. My mental health sucks from day to day. So yeah, I'm just ready to get back in there and get chugging along. Number 52. What's my talent? I like to sing. I like to write. 53. What's one word that describes me? Neurotic. 54. What's your favorite quotes? I used to have on my Facebook, there were two quotes. There was one from William Carlos Williams from something, which I don't remember. I had one that was from Harriet the Spy. When Gully's leaving, she starts quoting from Alice in Wonderland, the time has come, the walrus said, to talk of many things. But I couldn't find those quotes on my Facebook, and so I was like, oh, what other quotes do I know? And I always think of, there was one in my journal that Amelia made for me once that said, from Perks of Being a Wallflower, that I always really liked, which was, old pictures look very rugged and young, and the people in the photographs always seem a lot happier than you are. I don't know why. I mean, that quote is a little bit depressing if you think too much into it, but I also like to think that, we see these photos and we have this nostalgia for how good things used to be, but really we're laughing or smiling for a photo. So it also paints the picture in a way that is not necessarily true to reality. And so I like to remember that as kind of when I get too nostalgic or wistful for the past, I like to think about it and say, okay, well, there are good things that I can miss, certainly, but don't forget that there were also bad things to kind of even out that image so that you're not wanting too much for it. Number 55, extrovert or introvert. I am definitely an introvert, but if anyone's known me from the past, you might think otherwise. Um, for limited amounts of time, I can be an extrovert. I can have, I'm very confident in just being out there and putting myself out there, so I don't really mind that. But it does take a lot of energy for me, and after I do something like that, I usually like crash after a day or two. Like the next 2 days are probably no socializing, very little doing anything. 56, left or right-handed? Left-handed. 57, do I consider myself a good cook? Now, excuse me, I can cook. Um, I can follow a recipe like nobody's business. However, I'm not very intuitive when it comes to cooking. Now, Joe, he can just say, what kind of food is it? Where does it come from in the world? And he knows the spice blends put together for that. No, I'm going to follow it direction-wise. I do have enough knowledge of the kitchen that I know where to cut shortcuts. I know how to do things my way. But for the most part, I follow it to a T. 58. If money were no object, what would I get for my next birthday? I would love to have a summer house in Iceland, just to be able to visit on the weekends. 59. If I could live anywhere in the world, where would it be? And I checked this one off unknowingly. I moved to Iceland kind of not knowing much about it or anything, and I always say that before Iceland, I don't know if I knew what truly being happy was. And now that I live here, I can't imagine being anywhere else. It's truly where I feel the happiest I've ever felt in my life. Number 60, favorite thing to have for breakfast. I mean, if I'm spoiling myself, it would be mimosas and eggs Benedict all the way. Otherwise, I like a sandwich or a bagel, something simple. 61, favorite gadget, probably my phone, as of everyone. 62, longest relationship so far. So Joe and I have been together since March 2009, roughly, which is horrible to think about when you don't feel like that much time has passed. Yeah, we knew each other for 2 years even before that, but we can get into that another time. 63, my biggest accomplishment, so moving to Iceland with Joe. 64, my biggest fear. So, wow, this sounds really dark when I read it. Let's read it out loud. I wrote down never knowing peace or finding stillness and not being able to relax and enjoy it. So, my mind is constantly going. So, I think that to be able to, someone's about to eat, so you might be hearing this. Just to be able to find like a still spot in my brain and kind of just, even when I find that spot, very rarely do I not relax or leave it alone. So just being able to kind of find that balance would be really great. And my fear is not finding that balance. 65, my biggest regret. I invested a lot into certain people in my past, people that did not were not beneficial to me necessarily, or that I just invested a lot of energy into and I didn't get much out of. And I let a lot of good people slip away. So those are some of my regrets. It's just kind of how I've handled situations. It's all been a learning curve, and it's all like for the best. But yeah, you know, if we could do things differently, it would be nice. Most important thing in my life is Joe. So I'm trying to keep Solid away from eating because he's like directly behind. Go away. So most important thing in my life, Joe. My 67, my favorite musician. I have a lot of pop punk references here, but I'll choose Starting Line as my favorite pop punk band. Other than that, I love Phoebe Bridgers, like obsessed. Before her was Ben Gibbard, Elliott Smith at one point. I really like Taylor Swift, even though I hate to admit that, and I think she's really. I mean, I don't know how much credit to give her for anything, but it's all really catchy, and I really like it. So I don't know. 68. What has required the most courage of you in your life so far? Probably admitting that I like Taylor Swift. No, moving to a country without even having a passport before it. So, people say that that takes balls. For me, I was just moving. Um, 69, beach or mountains. I don't want to pick. So, if I had to choose one over the other, then it would definitely be mountains all the way. However, I can't imagine not having time spent at Christmas in California at the beach or in Sozopol in Bulgaria. I really love it in those settings, but I couldn't handle that full time. Number 70 is favorite food. So I left this mommy blogger's answer because she wrote Chipotle, and I just thought, like, of all the foods you could ever eat, Chipotle is your answer. Which, I mean, fine. My mom, when I used to come home from college, she would say, "What do you want?" And the one thing I would always want is McDonald's because it was something I never ate outside of home. So I understand. Anyway, as a kid, my favorite foods were cherry cheesecake and lasagna. And as an adult, I would say it's probably like PA Dutch chicken pot pie and pumpkin roll. So I think it's more like a nostalgia for home these days. Favorite fairy tale? Alice in Wonderland. 71. 72 is favorite ice cream flavor. It's Cherry Garcia. I think that's also because I can't find it here in Iceland, so it's like a must-have when I do go home. Number 73 is my favorite Bible verse. Number 74 is my favorite place is taken out of town guests. So, I mean, I'm a little bit spoiled being in Iceland, so it's Vik, the black sand beaches, or the Blue Lagoon, so that I can also benefit from just enjoying and relaxing. I can't handle him just like staring at my face the entire time. My favorite TV show when I was a kid, number 75. So Rugrats was a big one, and Digimon still holds a really dear place in my heart. But I watched a lot of different ones, Ren and Stimpy, Rocko's Modern Life. There were a lot of different ones for the years. I'm going to keep going and see if I can... I'm not going to be able to do it all. All right, I'm going to try. 76. Am I more likely to avoid conflict or engage it head on? So I like to be direct and handle it. Now, this is something that's only become recent in the last few years. I wish I could be less direct sometimes, but I think it's best just to be honest and then deal with the aftermath. It's not that I'm trying to create conflict, but rather that I just really want to get to the root of problems and be direct rather than not say what I mean and then come back to it later. So yeah, This has come up a little recently, so it's kind of strange to talk about. 77. Any fan of a sports team? No, I don't have one. 78. What is good about how you are living your life right now? I mean, I'm really liking this exploration aspect of Stalin. Go away. I'm really liking this exploration aspect that I'm having all this free time, but I'm ready for stability and to be working again for sure. It's not the best necessarily. 79, if I could eliminate one weakness or limitation in my life, what would it be? And I wrote again just to be carefree every now and again. 80, who's had the most impact on my life? My mom or Joe. Pretty obvious. 81, what's the weirdest thing you've seen in your life? Now, this was really a hard one for me. Depends on how you look at it. The person who did this quiz wrote that they saw a clown walking down the highway. So then I was like, what did I see that was really strange? And then I thought, in Amsterdam, I saw a seagull swallow an entire rat in one bite, or like gulp, in the canal, which I was quite impressed by. It was like not a very small seagull, or not a very big seagull, and not a very small rat. So that was weird. 82 is what's the best teacher I've ever had? So that would definitely be Miss Dodson, hands down. I've been trying to find ways to reach out to her. She's not really online. I've even considered writing her son just to get in contact with her. So if anyone knows, you can let me know. She impacted me in ways that I would love to tell her these days how she's done for me. 83 is the biggest pack rat that I know. So that's Joe, for sure. I can tell you many stories about that one. 84 and 85 is who's the first person you call when something exciting happens or something horrible happens. That's going to be Joe again. 86, worst boss I've ever had. And I've actually been pretty blessed when it comes to jobs. I am picky as a person anyway, so I choose jobs where I know that I'm going to like it. And it's always been something important to me. So I don't actually have a bad boss. I've had some instances with bosses, but we've gotten through it and it's been fine in the end. 87, do you save old greeting cards and letters? You know, I have some from high school, and maybe a few other important ones throughout the years, but generally speaking, you know, I try not to hoard too much of just like Merry Christmas. 88 is do you sleep with the lights on or off? Off. 89, Titanic or Notebook? I wrote The Notebook, but the book was so much better. I thought the movie could have just done the same ending and it would have been just as beautiful. 90, do I have a garden? Yes, but I rarely use it. It's a shared one. 91, hidden dream that I've never shared with anyone. I would love to get a book published. I also would love to study art therapy, as I kind of mentioned before in the same video. 92, any convictions that I'm willing to die for? This person wrote Jesus. I don't know. I don't know why do I have to die? So ask me when I'm in a situation that would require that. 93 is the last text message I've received. It's from my mother. Last person I ate dinner with was Joe. I wrote about most embarrassing moment already. 95, I mentioned the one about the assembly, but I can also remember one recently, and that was, it was icy out, and I was wearing hiking boots to go to the Blue Lagoon with Joe and his family. And I was at this point where I was just kind of tucking my shoelaces into the shoes because I hate hiking boots, how much you have to lace them up, and I refused to do that. And as I was walking, the laces interlocked, and I tripped and fell on my face right in front of a tour bus, like full of tourists. So that was pretty embarrassing. 96 is one thing that amazes me, and I wrote Icelandic landscapes. Just being out in these beautiful places totally alone is just a crazy, unique experience. 97, top of my bucket list, go to the Galapagos, go to Japan, and just mostly visit places. And then what scares me about aging, I think about mortality too much as it is. And then the last two questions are, you know, have I considered living abroad? Yeah, obviously. And what book am I reading at the moment? And I don't have anything new. I have literally 30 seconds to wrap this video up. That was 3 of 3 videos of 100 things to find out about me. I don't think they're particularly exciting, but you can watch them and learn something. And feel free to tell me if I should answer more mommy blog questionnaires. Last time I'll say it, I promise. Ciao.